Now, creating new titles with a development is both complex and time-consuming. It can take many months to complete the process. In this video, we will be taking a look at the subdivision process. Once you have received a town planning permit for the development, your land surveyor can begin his work in the subdivision process. We will review the role of the land surveyor and overview the steps required to enable a new land title to be formally registered. The subdivision process can take place prior, during, or upon completion of the development. The banks and lending institutions often prefer the subdivision to be undertaken prior to the development. Once you have obtained a town planning permit for the proposed development, you may wish to subdivide the land prior to construction, and to apply, a request is made to the subdivision officer within the local council to prepare what is known as a town planning permit for the subdivision. Now, the time frame between request and receipt of that permit is about 30 days. A plan of how the subdivision will look is created by the land surveyor, and this is often referred to as a preliminary plan of subdivision. Here we can see a typical plan that shows the creation of a 3-lot subdivision. Once a preliminary plan is created, the land surveyor will make application to council requesting a planning permit be issued for the subdivision. In this slide, you will note an example of a planning permit for the subdivision. On first glance, the permit itself looks extremely similar to the planning permit given to enable the development. However, the content and list of conditions will be extremely different. Planning permits for subdivisions often state a condition regarding Section 173 agreements. These legal agreements impose legal obligations upon the title holder and require a number of steps to be undertaken prior to the subdivision being formally registered. Items A to G shown here are common on Section 173 agreements. The Section 173 or S173 is prepared by council's legal representative and is then provided to council, who will forward this on to the landowner. The registered title landowner will need to sign this document before sending it to his or her mortgagee, if that's applicable. Once the mortgagee is signed, the document will return to council for consent. A fully executed Section 173 agreement will then be forwarded to the titles office and a dealing number recorded against the title. In most cases, council will not sign the Section 173 agreement until all other town planning permit conditions have been satisfied. On this slide, you'll see an example of a typical Section 173 agreement. The following slide shows you the page at which all parties must give consent and approval to that subdivision. One of the biggest surprise costs for first-time developers comes in the form of a contribution commonly referred to as the private open space contribution. In this example here, we can see a contribution based on 4% of the site value, and that's required to be paid before subdivision is approved and indeed granted. For example, if the council were to value this particular site at $1 million, the contribution that goes to council will be $40,000. Various authorities will need to provide their consent to the subdivision. Most authorities will require the applicant or landowner to facilitate various on-site works. In addition, you will be faced with having to pay a range of fees, charges and contributions. Energy companies may require underground connection pits and group meters to be installed before providing consent. Water authorities may require that each new lot is adequately connected for sewer services before giving consent to the subdivision. Each of these requirements adds a significant cost. Here we can see an example of a letter provided by the local water authority providing approval for the subdivision. Once council has given compliance for the subdivision, the mortgagee, if applicable, is required to formally authorise the subdivision before the land surveyor or solicitor, conveyancer, submits the plan of subdivision to the land titles office to be registered. The time taken to complete the subdivision process prior to construction generally takes between 2 to 4 months. Be prepared for delays. It is very common for these to occur, particularly from the mortgagee and council delegates. Here we can see a summary report advising us that the executed Section 173 agreement has been formally processed by the Land Titles Office, who have issued a dealing number. Council will require the dealing number in order to complete the approval process. Certification of the plan of subdivision is now undertaken online in most cases. Council and the land surveyor electronically sign the plan, which can be formally registered at the Land Titles Office. The final step in the registration process can be done either by a solicitor, conveyancer or personally. A fee is paid and the Land Titles Office will allocate volume and folio numbers to the new lots. An example of the new title is shown on the following page. Further information has been compiled for you and is available for free. If you'd like a copy of this publication, simply write or phone us today. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to find out more, visit melbournepropertytalk.com.au.